Talking Summer League and have the Boston Celtics stumbled onto their big of the future? Let's talk about it right now on the Lockdown Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. Recap the madness every game, every practice. Primetime Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Lockdown Celtics podcast, right here on the Lockdown Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them Monday through Friday for the rest of July. August, we dip into 3 days a week. September, same thing. Then October, bam, back up to 5 days a week as we get back into training camp and all of that stuff. Tons of free podcasting. It's all right here. Wherever you get your podcast, watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section, share your thoughts with me, John Karalis, beat writer covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. Been doing a version of this job for about 20 years now. I've written a couple of books about the Celtics as well. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers, you get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go sign up at FanDuel.com. Talking about Summer League later on. We'll just kind of run through a lot of the people. Later in the third segment, we'll get to Jordan Walsh and Amari Williams. I'll save Hugo Gonzalez and Max Shulga for the second segment, Baylor Shireman in a few minutes. But let's start. We're going to start with what I mentioned right at the top of the show. The Celtics looking for bigs. They're looking for front court help. And did they just happen to stumble onto Charles Bassey? He wasn't even on the Summer League roster. He wasn't even in the preview. No one had an idea to even consider, hey, what does Charles Bassey bring and what could he bring to the Celtics? In a way, it's kind of a little Lonnie Walker-ish. And when you say like, oh, wow, this guy was available and kind of fits a need. And I can see that. I can see him helping. I can definitely see going down that road with Bassey. The difference is that Walker had a history and I thought a track record of being able to score in the NBA, and now his NBA he's hanging on by a thread. Celtics obviously had him and cut him. He went overseas, came back. Philly had him and cut him. But regardless, this is not a Lonnie Walker segment. This is a Charles Bassey segment. Eagle-eyed folks looked at a picture of Amari Williams practicing at Summer League practice, and they spotted Bassey in the background. And, when I went to Summer League practice, I was, you're looking around, but sometimes you get so focused on like, okay, what's Hugo doing? What's Shulga doing? What's Williams doing? We're talking to Matt Reynolds. We're talking to Brad Stevens. It's run and gun basically. And wasn't a lot of like, oh, wow, look at what's Charles Bassey doing here? I mean, maybe somebody said that, but it really wasn't a big kind of revelation until he showed up at Vegas Summer League. And he is kind of what the Celtics need. He's a big, athletic, bouncy center who, against the Knicks on Sunday, put up a 22.13 rebound double-double. And against the Grizzlies on Friday, had 14 and 11. A couple of blocks against the Grizzlies. What do you have against the Knicks? 3 blocks, 2 steals, an assist, kind of filling up the stat sheet. This is where we have to be careful because it's Summer League. And Bassey has 4 years of basketball, mostly with San Antonio under his belt, has played 130-something games. He's had a few starts in the NBA. So there's a track record there. He has performed at the NBA level. And when a guy like that goes to Summer League, okay, he's an NBA player playing against Summer League competition, especially as a big. There is a tendency to be able to do the putback thing, the offensive rebounds, like 4 offensive rebounds against New York, against Memphis. He had 7 offensive rebounds. It's so haphazard. Everything's all over the place. It's very easy for a big to be able to sneak in and grab an offensive rebound because a guy drives, for example, and like 2 or 3 guys will go trying to block the shot. It's very kind of amateurish in a way. There's a lot of guys trying to make plays. They're trying to impress not just coaches, but the scouts. It's not your typical kind of basketball. So I say this with a grain of salt, where you look at Bassey's rebounding and his impact there and second chance points and stuff like that. He is taking advantage of summer league competition and summer league defensive mistakes. So I'm sure the numbers, when you look at it, like, wow, 22 and 13, that's incredible. And it is in a general sense. You'd rather see him put up 22 and 13 than not put up 22 and 13, right? I've said this on the podcast before many times. When you're evaluating summer league talent, success is less meaningful than failure. Failure at the summer league level, and I'll get to that in a few minutes with a couple of these other players. Failure at the summer league level means a little bit more to me than success, because if you're halfway decent, you should come in and have some success in these haphazard games against guys who don't necessarily, like, they've had 3-4 days of practice, right? They barely know each other. They don't remember, like, this is a very kind of thrown together, like, slapdash kind of basketball. So I understand that that's probably fueling some of it, right? The Spurs had Bassey. They chose not to keep Bassey, and instead they brought in Luke Cornett and traded for Kelly Olynyk. So there's this feeling of, okay, what are we missing here? Because I look at this guy and I'm like, hey, this could be very helpful. He could be very helpful. But if he was that helpful, why didn't the Spurs keep him? He's young. He does all of these things. Why would you pay that much money to Luke Cornett if you've got a guy like Bassey around? So Bassey hasn't exactly lit up the NBA, and there are things that the Spurs saw in him that made them think, like, okay, we can't invest our money in this guy. But for the Celtics, look, you've gone out and you're trying to pick through the scrap heap, right? You've gone to Minnesota and you picked up Luka Garza, who just got cut. You're just trying to piece things together. So why not bring in Bassey on an Exhibit 10 contract, or which is basically a camp contract? Bring him into camp. Let's see what he can do. I've seen enough in 2 games where he's got the hustle, the drive, the nose for the ball. He can defend. He's got decent instincts. I've seen him, make decent reads defensively, get a couple of block shots off of that. You see him in drop coverage, recognizing what the ball handler is trying to do and react to that. Now, he might rely on his athleticism a little too much. And so I'm not going to go full Lonnie Walker, a year ago or 11 months ago. We're like, oh my God, what a stroke of genius. I can't believe they were able to get this guy. And it was really a meaningless signing. But I am going to say that he's been impressive over 2 games. He plays a position of absolute need. And the Celtics have J.D. Davison, who, again, I just don't evaluate him as a reliable NBA player. So his contract was picked up, but it's not guaranteed. So they can still cut him, or you can trade one of these $2+ million guys and sign. You have to open up the roster spot, and then you can sign Bassey if you need to. So I say bring him in. I say bring him into camp, and let's see if he can compete What's if he works out, then great. If it's him and Garza together, then that's your front court. But at least there's some NBA experience there in that front court. It's certainly not the best, but you're like, I don't know. Maybe, I was gonna say you could do worse. I don't know. Maybe some people will be like, can you? I don't know. So far, 2 games. I think Bassey has earned at least a training camp invite. Baylor Shireman played okay, but he's not shooting well. What does that mean? I'll get into Hugo Gonzalez and the rest of those guys when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Hungry Root. Meal planning, grocery shopping can be overwhelming. You got a list that's a mile long. Things get expensive. You walk into the market, there's people everywhere, and people at home are picky eaters. You don't know what it can be overwhelming. So Hungry Root has this thing called Smart Cart technology. They recommend groceries, recipes, even supplements tailored to your preferences, whether you're dairy-free, gluten-free, focused on gut health, or just trying to eat better. Hungry Root has you covered. They take the stress out of meal planning. So what you can do is you don't waste time at a grocery store or stress over what's for dinner. They already have that figured out. And if you're running around, this is going to be especially helpful for me during the season where it's practices and games and all over the place. I have picky eaters in the household. This is going to be a big help. And frankly, I have nutrition goals that I have a tough time sticking to. So I know that I can get a little hand from Hungry Root, and I don't have to give up flavor or convenience. Take advantage of this exclusive offer for a limited time. 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. All you got to do is go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. That feed has 2 podcasts for you. One of them is Locked On NBA Game Night, giving you a few big things from the Summer League games. I did that on Friday with Jake Madison. Just a few big takeaways from Summer League games, especially from like the big names who are out there. And then Locked On NBA has all the league's big stories covered. So basically, Locked On Celtics is your first listen. Locked On NBA and Locked On NBA Game Night can be your second and third listens. You get caught up on everything basketball. The Celtics they have a couple of guys that are holdovers, we'll call them. Baylor Shireman is one of them. Against the Knicks, I thought he played a fairly decent game. I thought it was pretty good. Overall numbers: 13 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. Couple of turnovers against Memphis. Did not shoot well, but still had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The other things are going to be the thing that we have to focus on because the shooting has not been there. Shireman shot 2 of 14, 1 of 8 from 3 against Memphis. He was 1 of 7 from 3 against New York, and 6 of 15 overall. But again, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, not bad. The 8 assists, impressive because it's tough to get assists in Summer League. Getting in there to get rebounds, doing the other things when the shot's not falling is important. I thought there was a stretch there, at least in the first half especially, where it really felt like, okay, Baylor Shireman's an NBA guy. He is out there against Summer League guys, and he's kind of picking them apart a little bit. The vision, the court vision, that's part of his game. We've seen it. We talked about it last year when he got drafted and saw that in Summer League. His ability to find guys is important. And the shooting is also important, but I can't really get caught up in makes and misses. If you only follow makes and misses, you really run into some trouble with evaluating Summer League because sometimes guys get hot. And again, the defense is not always great. So you get a guy who gets a 5-game heater with some confidence against a defense that is lacking. you can fall in love with the makes and miss things that the guy is doing. So Shireman, 2 of 15 from 3, not good. Um, and I would love to see, he is a 3-point shooter, so I would love to see a 6 of 7 like he did in Boston that one night. I like to see one of those games just to kind of level things off. He was a 40% 3-point shooter in the G League, so I know he has it in him. He came in with the reputation of a shooter, so it's very obviously there. He struggled shooting in limited opportunities with the Celtics last year, and so there's that feeling of, are we going down the Aaron Nesmith kind of road where guy comes in with this reputation, not finding it in his early stages, and then Nesmith goes to Indy and does find it. You're like, oh, okay, that's the absolute sniper that we were missing here. So I would like to see Shireman hit a few shots, but as long as the shots that he's getting, the one shot that he did hit against the Knicks was a logo shot, which was fun, but him setting up his teammates, seeing the floor, doing the other things while a shot isn't falling is good. Like I said, there were stretches there where it felt like he was very clearly NBA level guy, and the other guys on the floor weren't. I want to send a shout out to Jaylen Bridges, who had a nice game in this as well against the Knicks. 16 points. He was 6 of 10, hit a couple of 3-pointers. I don't know what Bridges is going to be. I would anticipate Bridges probably getting an Exhibit 10, come to camp, get cut, go to Maine type of deal. So that's, I think, the path for him. I'm curious about Max Shulga, who has been the primary ball handler through these 2 games and has been impressive. I think as far as a guy who plays under control and is trying to run the offense. Now, the raw numbers aren't going to pop out at you, but against New York, he had a couple of crazy makes. Like he was 3 of 9. I think all 3 of those makes were kind of wild. So, but he had a couple of assists, but 2 steals, just 1 turnover. And against Memphis, no turnovers. That's going to be the stat that I'm really, really focused on. 1 turnover in 2 games as the point guard of a summer league team. I wrote on Boston Sports Journal that I feel like being the point guard on a summer league team is almost like being the dance instructor for like an 8-year-old recital. If you've ever seen that, you know what I'm talking about. Trying to get a bunch of people who are completely focused on themselves and not really 100% on being part of the team and hitting all of the choreography at the same time. And like, you're the instructor and you have to be like, no, okay, everybody, no, do this. Now you go, no, do that. And you're like pointing and that's a point guard in summer league where Shulga has to be like, no, you go this way. And no, you go that way. And guys are running into each other and the timing is way off because everybody's playing way too fast and guys are off on their own. And people, you're supposed to run, A, B, C, D, E. And at like B, somebody's like, oh, I got a good matchup. Boom, they go. And that's the tough part. And so I think in that atmosphere, Shulga has kind of held his own and organized the Celtics fairly well. Is that going to make him the starting point guard? No. But for a guy that you drafted at the end of the second round, okay, let's see what he do in Maine. I think Shulga can slide right into that JD Davison role. And I feel like I'm piling on a little bit with JD. It's no disrespect to any of these guys. I think they're all like JD Davison's one of the best basketball players in the world. And he's just not good enough to be a full-time NBA player right now, at least not for the Celtics. So I think the smart thing to do would be, if it's not Bassey, it's somebody else that and maybe they acquire somebody, and I don't know how it goes, but if you need to open up a roster spot, Davison's spot makes perfect sense. You have Shulga sliding into that spot. He's the point guard for the main Celtics. Let's see how he can handle that. It's a step up from the summer league, and it's at least organized, and people are playing for a certain cause. And then let's see how that goes. And, eventually you're going to live in a world where Derek White's not going to be part of the team anymore. No matter what, he probably only has a few more years as a member of the Celtics, like in the NBA. He's not ancient, but he's 31, I believe. So I don't think a guy of his build is going to be like a starting point guard, 5-6 years from now. I think at some point it starts to go away. That happens to everybody. So you have to start to plan for some amount of that future, right? So Shulga, I don't know, intriguing. He's an intriguing guy that you say, okay, he's on a two-way deal. Let's see what you do in Maine. Let's see what you can do. Matt Reynolds, who's the Celtics assistant coach, you might know him as the guy who does the replays. He's the head coach for the Summer Celtics. And he said, like, Shulga can play. He knows the game. And I can see it. Now, how that translates to the next level, I don't know. But he's a guy, you look at him, you go, okay, interesting. Put him in the maybe pile, right? He's in the maybe pile. And you go from there. Can he handle Summer League? Can he handle the G League? Can he handle some spot minutes? I think getting him in Boston for some fourth quarter, quote unquote, garbage time minutes would be beneficial. Let's see what you got. Hugo Gonzalez, Amari Williams, the two, and Jordan Walsh. We'll talk about all of those guys when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. If you're a new customer, sign up right now for FanDuel because you get a special offer. Make your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. So whether it's betting on the Red Sox or baseball or high-stakes soccer action or tennis, we just had Wimbledon wrap up. Congratulations to the winners there. You have an opportunity to make all of it a little bit more thrilling with some skin in the game at FanDuel. So they have new daily promotions, keep giving you fun ways to bet. Your payouts are fast, and so even regular season baseball games feel like must-watch events. And, you got same-game parlays, so you can watch a bet ride. Like if you're betting on baseball, let that ride through the ninth inning, and you feel like you're part of the action. They also have the tools to make you set your limit, set your budget, so whatever your disposable income, whatever you can afford to lose, that's what you set your limit at, so you don't go overboard. Want to make sure that everybody's having fun. If your choice is to bet on sports, please do so responsibly. New customers, you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. If your first bet wins, open that FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you so much for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. We got a Locked On for every team in pro sports. So whatever your favorite baseball team is, your favorite football team, your favorite hockey team, we got a Locked On for that. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you found this podcast. Hugo Gonzalez did not play in the second game. Brad Stevens said that it was basically scheduled day off. The guy went through a full season with Real Madrid. Their championship game was draft night. And he stayed up after the game all through the morning, like 6 a.m, just to hear his name called. Then he comes over and he starts practicing and plays in that summer league game. And it's a bit much. So Brad, seeing that, was like, look, take the day off. We see it. I think the one thing that we saw from Gonzalez is the motor. The desire to, just hound people up and down the floor. When we talked to Jordan Walsh, he was like, oh man, that guy's a defensive menace because he's all over the place. And so you hear, even in the mid-game interview, like they caught up to him after halftime, and he's like super focused, super intense. So he seems like a true competitor. He didn't shoot well, but he, in that one game that he played, 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, a steal, a couple of blocks. He did have a few turnovers, but Brad Stevens said, hey, look, sometimes you saw him go one way and a guy was cutting 3 steps behind him on the other way, and you just got to get him on the same page. I'm certainly not going to make any evaluations after one game, but you got to like his motor, his desire, his, picking up full court, all of that stuff. The vision is there. He made some really nice plays. I think he understands the game. So you could tell there's just certain things that are translatable, beating a guy off the dribble, drawing help, and then making the right pass after that. He did that. But again, just one game, but that's something that he's been doing. So it just feels like he has a good kind of feel for things. Again, NBA basketball is different. The players are bigger, faster, stronger. The speed of the entire game is different. The speed at which decisions need to be made is different. So that's where you get that separates the true pros from the guys who are good. You're the guys who are drafted and have the potential, but never realize it. So what will make Hugo Gonzalez a part of Boston's future? It's playing at that speed, probably slowing down while playing with that same intensity and making those same plays. The shot was there in the first game. He was 3 of 5 from 3. That was nice to see. I'm not sold. Like, you don't want to fall in love with the makes. It's a super high arcing shot. I need to see it fall more consistently. I'm kind of curious about it. I want to take a real close look at that form and how it looks. It's a real like ceiling scratching kind of shot. It, in a way, not, I don't want to say it's I don't want to make comparisons, but it's not Sam Hauser in terms of consistency, but Sam has this nice high arcing kind of floating shot, but Gonzalez kind of has the same kind of angle, the same kind of parabola to his shot. So I don't know if it's going to fall consistently or not, but it's that same kind of soft touch. I want to see it come off his hand a little bit more and see how it looks. So a nice debut for him. Interesting guy. Amari Williams played a couple of games. Not a ton to say about Amari other than the passing is legit. He made a pass to, I think it was Jaylen Bridges. I think Bridges was the cutter against the Knicks on Sunday. And it was just a nice, like, Bridges took the step towards the 3-point line, then cut back door. Amari hits him with a nice, beautiful pass, nice leading pass at a tough angle. And it got through. It was, great vision, great timing, all of that stuff. So you look at it and you say, okay, the passing ability is legit. Again, can you do that at the next level? I don't know. But when that opening was there, he hit it. So that's good. He's, set some decent screens. I don't know about the rebounding yet, but we'll see where that goes. But you say, okay, the passing is what we were sold on. The passing is there. Let's see what kind of passer he can be. Nothing about his game makes me think, okay, this is a guy who can contribute right away. But the passing and the athleticism makes me think, okay, you can run the same kind of offense you ran with Robert Williams, the dribble handoffs, the high post stuff, and maybe he can make a lot of those same type of reads. And then can he develop those skills of faking the handoff, taking a dribble, and getting to the rim? Can he create? Can he roll effectively? Can he get in there and pick up some offensive rebounds, some putbacks? That's the next level of stuff. So again, the passing is as advertised. Now let's see him build on that. A couple of other notes here. I saved Jordan Walsh for last or next to last. I'm starting to lose a little confidence in Jordan Walsh. I just feel like he's had some, like, against the Grizz in the first game, he had 17 points, 6 of 12, 3 of 6 from 3. And that was nice. But none of those shots were none of them were the types of shots where I'm like, okay, this is the maturity showing out. He is executing well. No, he didn't execute particularly well. I think his athleticism kind of carried the day, and that's a trap that you have to be aware of. Athleticism will get a player points in Summer League. So you got to be careful about that. And I think some of his scoring was based on athleticism. He hit a few shots, which, again, you're not going to fall in love with because sometimes shots fall, sometimes they don't. They didn't fall from 3 in the first game against Memphis, where he was 1 of 6. Oh, I'm sorry, against New York, the second game, where he was 1 of 6. In fact, he was 2 of 10 overall. I got to the line a bunch, but there were 58 combined fouls in that game. So everybody got to the line. But Jordan got there 11 times, which is nice. I'm struggling to see the path for Jordan to get there with the Celtics. I'm not saying he can't get there. But at this point, third year in Summer League, I was just hoping for more from a guy who's been in the NBA for a couple of seasons, has been with the big club, has seen it, has seen the speed. I wanted to see a little bit more in control. I still feel like after 2 years of Summer League where he's just playing too fast, still feel like he's out there playing too fast. So I don't know if he's having a tough time playing within himself. I think Summer League is very easy to get sped up. It's very easy to play too fast. And that's why that's why Max Shulga stands out. You say, okay, a guy who plays under control in that setting, you're like, okay, I like that he's playing under control. It may not result in any stats, but I like that he's playing under control and he's not letting the whirlwind speed him up. I think Jordan still lets the whirlwind speed him up. So I want it to work out for him. I'm starting to get that feeling of like, I don't know, because your third year in Summer League should be smoother than this. So he still has a few games to get it together. So I'm not saying I'm out, but I am starting to do that, I'm still looking at my watch. You know, when you're getting ready to leave a party and you start looking at your watch and you're like, okay, I'm going to start looking for the opening here. And unless somebody comes along and hits you with a great story, unless somebody comes along and hooks you to stick around for a little while longer, you're going to start like putting your plate away. You're going to start like, all right, where's my coat or whatever. Like that's the stage where I'm at with Jordan. He still has time to keep me at the party, but I am starting to like make my way towards the door. The last thing I got to mention is Kenny Lofton Jr., who I'm all set. I'm all set with him. I think he's detrimental to the Summer League team. I think it's too much. He's clearly looking out for himself, which I don't blame him for, but it's It's not what the Celtics need. He's not giving them anything that they need. But he's out there looking for basically his own thing for the most part. He has kind of settled into making a couple of passes. The second game was much better than the first one, mainly because he played in, was it 18 minutes against the Knicks versus, oh no, it was 18 minutes against the Grizzlies too. So it just, he played a little bit better against the Knicks. He wasn't as ball dominant against the Knicks as he was against Memphis. Memphis, I was like, oh my God, get this guy off the floor. But I'm all set with Kenny Lofton. He was an MVP in China. I think that's going to be great. Go become a legend in China. I just don't think it's happening for you here. So sorry, but I don't see it. Celtics play again Monday night. This is the Monday show. So Monday night, 8:00 game. So a little bit of a later podcast. I'll focus on Summer League again in that podcast. So make sure you're subscribed. We're digging deep. We're getting into the nitty gritty here. And Summer League is a fun time to react or overreact. If you have overreactions, I would love to hear your thoughts, see your thoughts on the YouTube page. Get into the comment section there. The show is free, available everywhere. It's available on YouTube. Great community building in that comment section there. Would love to see you in there, sharing your thoughts. And then I would love it if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.